Hi everyone, welcome back to this Children's Rights channel. A few people have been asking me, Trisha, when are you coming on again? I told you in my last video that I would take a 3 weeks break because of the Easter holiday. So now the Easter is over and I'm back. And of course, the summer holidays are coming up. So I will not be recording also during the summer holidays. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has bought my book, Resilience by Trisha Morrison. I know many people have it on their shelves. They have not read it as yet, but they have bought it. So I thank you for the support. Also for the people who have subscribed to this channel, I appreciate your support. Thank you once more. So this week, a 6-year-old girl child, she came up to me and said, may I ask you a question? And I'm like, yes, please. And she was like, why do you always change your hair? And I had to think about what I was going to tell her. Of course, everything happened so fast. But I didn't really have an answer. Why do I always change my hair? Like so many black women, it has become an habit for me just to wear different hair. It's something that I like. So of course it is a wig. I have many wigs and sometimes I just put different wigs on. Of course, I told the child that it's because I have many moods and I change my hair according to the mood I'm in. That's not really true, but it's just an habit. So sometimes you will see me wearing red hair, short hair, curly hair. It's just one thing I like to do. Okay, that has nothing to do with children's rights. Let's get into today's lesson. We are at Article 6 of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. Article 6 talks about the inherent right of the child to life, survival, and development. And of course, it said state parties, so countries should ensure that they do everything possible for the survival and development of children under their borders or within their borders. Of course, we know that we live in a practical world. So, of course, the states, according to their resources, we see them having schools, we see them having state-owned hospitals. Of course, we see they having civil servants that are involved in various fields, doctors, social workers, and so forth. But the inherent right of the child, the first responsibility is on the parents. It's on the parents. Of course, we hope that we live in a world where parents are responsible enough to plan for their children and to make sure that they have the ability to at least provide children with basic needs of education, basic needs of food, clothing, and shelter. But of course, it is not like that. So we have many situations where states have implemented things like social welfare. In Jamaica, there are food stamps. In Germany, they have the social welfare system. I don't know if any country in Africa have any social welfare system, but we know of NGOs, we know of charity organization that tries to feed children or try to offer free education. Of course, personally, there is the wish that parents would be responsible. And I spoke about this in my book because also I was a child that grew up in poverty, and I know that poverty has many faces. It has a lot of complications. So, although as a child I didn't lack food, however, there was other things that stemmed from the poverty. So, the surroundings, the amount of love, the amount of care, the attention I got from my parents, all of these all of these have also to do with the inherent right of the child for survival. It's not just food. So it's also about emotional care. It's also about support. It's also about that child developing into the best possible human that he or she can be, developing his or her potential, getting the correct support system, and having a good upbringing. Of course, these things, they're hard to measure because many people will tell you, although they grew up in poverty, they were happy and they loved playing with other children, or there was always this extended family support. So nothing is written down in stone. However, the ideal thing is for parents, before they start having children, or okay, we already have the children, me myself is a parent, is to try and ensure that we support the child in all areas, not just the basic needs, but also we should think beyond that, give the child the love, and make sure the child develop his or her full potential. Of course, in the UNCRC, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, it puts this responsibility on the state. So, of course, we as citizens of a nation, if we see a child being endangered, like malnutrition, or we see a child being abused where it's a danger to that child life, we as citizens, of course, we can go and seek help for that child from the authorities, for example, the police, whatever. However, the main thing is that parents, we start taking more responsibility for our children. And of course, the state is there and it should help. So we should be in a position also as parents that we know, okay, if we do not have certain, for example, resources, we don't have certain money for our children to go to school, we should know that the child has the right to an education. So no child should lack education. If the child should be able to go to school up until age 12 without paying any fees. Of course, I know it's easier said than done because there are many complications. If we're looking at things like the distance of a school from where a family might live, or we're talking about, okay, the education is free, but maybe the child needs to be fed at school. Of course, there should also be some form of school feeding program. However, the Convention on the Rights of the Child, it tells us that it's according to the resources that are available in the country. So countries can easily say, okay, we offer schools, it's a public school, however, we don't have enough money to offer a school feeding program. That's why I said, although the countries, they're supposed to take on these responsibility to ensure the inherent rights of the child to life, development, and survival, the parents have a major role to play also. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. See you next week and have a beautiful week.